Today is Sunday, October 1st, 2023, and this is the Dunkley Report. The threat of a federal government shutdown ended late Saturday night after Congress approved a temporary funding bill to keep federal agencies open until November 17th. The bill passed just hours before the midnight deadline, and President Joe Biden quickly signed it. He called it good news for the American people. The package drops aid for Ukraine, but adds money for U.S. disaster assistance. House approval came after Speaker Kevin McCarthy abandoned plans for steep spending cuts and relied on Democratic help. Biden said he expects McCarthy to keep his commitment to the Ukrainian people and push for aid at this critical moment in the war with Russia. The White House has pinned the blame for a possible government shutdown on House Republicans who, until Saturday, had been paralyzed by their inability to pass a funding package. President Joe Biden is hoping the rest of the country would see things the same way. But that's an uncertain proposition at a time of extreme political polarization. On Saturday, with a midnight deadline looming, Congress approved a temporary funding bill to keep federal agencies open, and Biden quickly signed it. A shutdown would have meant even more chaos in Washington at a time when Biden is running for re-election. Authorities resumed their investigation Sunday of a central Illinois truck crash that killed 5 people, injured 5 others, and prompted an evacuation for hundreds of residents after a toxic chemical leak. The tanker truck was carrying caustic anhydrous ammonia. It was drained and moved to a secure location for a National Transportation Safety Board investigation, authorities said late Saturday as residents were allowed to return to their homes in the Tutopolis area. NTSB authorities planned a news conference later Sunday. Tutopolis is about 110 miles northeast of St. Louis. In tributes to Senator Diane Feinstein after her death, her female colleagues talked about her indomitable, fierce intelligence and how she had paved the way for so many women. But colleagues also mentioned their private times with the California Democrat that were at odds with Feinstein's tough public persona. They spoke of how she would invite them out to dinners and sometimes give them the clothes off her back. Feinstein was the first female mayor of San Francisco, one of California's first 2 female senators, and the first female chairwoman of the Senate Intelligence Committee. The 90-year-old Feinstein died on Thursday night at her home in Washington. The first arrest in the 1996 killing of Tupac Shakur had its roots in the investigation of the killing of Biggie Smalls. Dwayne Kef D. Davis was arrested and charged with murder Friday, with prosecutors saying he ordered and masterminded the Shakur killing. Retired Los Angeles police detective Greg Kading tells the Associated Press that he interviewed Davis as a person of interest in the Biggie Smalls shooting death. The detective says Davis revealed his role in the Shakur killing in that interview, then said the same thing in public interviews and a memoir. That gave new life to the Las Vegas investigation and led to his arrest and indictment. The Supreme Court is returning to a new term with familiar topics such as guns and abortion, as well as concerns about ethics swirling around the justices. The year also will have a heavy focus on social media and how free speech protections apply online. The new term begins on Monday. A big unknown is whether the court will be asked to weigh in on any aspect of the criminal cases against former President Donald Trump, or on efforts in some states to keep Trump off the 2024 presidential ballot because of his role in trying to overturn the results of the last presidential contest. A federal agency has sued Chipotle, accusing it of religious harassment and retaliation. The Equal Employment Opportunity Commission alleges in its lawsuit that a manager at a Chipotle restaurant in Kansas forcibly removed a Muslim employee's hijab in 2021. The complaint alleges that the manager repeatedly harassed the employee by asking her to show him her hair despite her refusal. The lawsuit claims this created a hostile working environment based on religion. Chipotle's Chief Corporate Affairs Officer, Lori Shallow, said the company has no tolerance for discrimination and has fired the manager in question. Footage from deep in the Pacific Ocean has given the first detailed look at 3 World War II aircraft carriers that sank in the pivotal Battle of Midway. The video could help solve mysteries about the days-long barrage in 1942 that marked a shift in control of the Pacific theater from Japanese to U.S. forces. Remote submersibles operating 3 miles below the surface conducted extensive archaeological surveys in September of the USS Yorktown, as well as the Akagi and Kaga, 2 of the 4 Japanese aircraft carriers destroyed. The imagery is expected to provide insight into conflicting reports about what happened in the battle. Apple is blaming a software bug and other issues tied to popular apps such as Instagram and Uber for causing its recently released iPhone 15 models to heat up and spark complaints about becoming too hot to handle. The Cupertino, California company said Saturday that it is working on an update to the iOS 17 system that powers the iPhone 15 lineup to prevent the devices from becoming uncomfortably hot. In a short statement provided to the Associated Press, the company didn't specify the timeline for its software fix. Apple says it's also working with the apps that have been causing problems, saying Instagram modified its app for iPhones this week. 2 helicopters zoomed through the starlit skies before producing spotlights over a Las Vegas desert and U2 frontman Bono, who kneeled to ground while singing Vertigo. This scene may seem customary, but the visuals were created by floor-to-ceiling graphics inside the immersive sphere. It was one of the several impressive moments during U2's UV Achtung Baby first residency show at the high-tech globe-shaped venue, which opened Friday night. The legendary rock band performed for 2 hours inside the massive, state-of-the-art spherical venue. Throughout the night, U2 took 18,000 attendees on a musical journey, accompanied by a plethora of attractive visuals. Today's news was reported by the Associated Press. This has been the World News for Sunday, October 1st, 2023. Thanks again for joining us at The Dunkley Report.